I gotta have something to drink. How about a beer? That's a good idea. Doesn't take much. I'll be right back. There we go. Goose Island Guava Squad. My father gave me these, all right? I'm embarrassed to even be drinking them, to be honest with you. But what am I going to do? Throw them in the trash? Please. Please. I figured we'd do something a little different today. And we talk about the artwork of Bithead1000. And now, it's freezing in here, okay? I can barely breathe. It's so cold in here. Can I just put it to you that way? Anyhow. And maybe because I just ran up the stairs. That might have something to do with my cardiovascular shutdown that I'm having right now. Anyhow. Yeah, I guess we start, with, I guess, a background on myself. My mother is an extremely creative person. Painter, illustrator. I don't know how to put it. She loves artwork in all different mediums. That's the crazy thing about my mom. She loves to do artwork, but like me, I like stick to one thing. I'm like acrylic paint. But she does she'll try everything. Like such an artistic mind and a creator. This type of thing. And my father is an engineer, a natural engineer, mechanic, carpenter, you name it. My father can do anything mechanical. Work on clocks. Okay? That's all you need to know. Okay? I want you to go repair a clock and then come talk to me. Yeah. So this is the kind of and not only that, repairing clocks, his eyesight is gone, and he's still now he's repairing watches. Yes, he has an electron microscope now to repair watches. You got to see it. You go into his back room; it's like a laboratory. Yeah, little lathes and whatnot. He's making gears and this type of thing. Anyhow. He likes to torture himself working on little things now. Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, just an all-around brilliant guy. My father. And then my grandfather was an artist and a carpenter. That's right. Worked on the World Trade Center hanging doors. That's right. They had a problem on the observation deck. Big door. They couldn't, something like the wind was blowing it. They didn't know they couldn't figure it. He built a custom door for the observation deck on the roof of the Twin Towers. Yeah. It's a pile of dust now in the ground, if you're wondering. That's right. I mean, I think that they probably since changed it from the 60s. But I mean, there you go. And my grandfather, such a gentleman. I mean, such a good person. Do you understand? When they say gentleman, like you said the word gentleman, you're talking about my grandfather. Yeah. Basically, God rest his soul. He's not with us anymore. So, yeah, my experience is art. I was surrounded by art because of my mother, growing up. But I used to draw pictures and whatnot. Never any good at drawing. Never really took to painting. I never tried painting growing up, to be honest with you. I guess I was more of a mechanical kid growing up. I was interested in working on cars. That's all I ever wanted to do. That's all I ever really want to do is work on cars. Like, if you give me $1 billion, I'd buy a big garage and I'd work on cars all day. That's it. I'd build gassers. Work on Fords. I like Fords. So there you have it. I'd build like a 289 that you could rev to 10 grand and let the clutch fly. and do burnouts down the block. That's all I really want to do. You know, an old Falcon gasser with a 289, and I'm happy. So, yeah. So later on in my life, I always liked artwork, you know, this type of thing. I've always been fascinated by artwork. I've always admired people that are good at art. I always thought to myself, the one quality that I'd want in a woman to pass on to my offspring is art, somebody artistic. I see somebody do something artistic, I fall in love. And I don't know how I ended up with my wife. She can't do anything. Artistic to speak of. I mean, maybe in the kitchen. You know, can of acetone popping. The temperature changes and then the can of acetone pops. I mean, is everybody bored to death already? So yeah, I've always been fascinated by, I've always been touched by artwork. I saw a 13-year-old girl draw the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen right in front of me. And I was just, I was in shock. I was in awe. To me, art is it's the highest expression of human creativity. Let's put it that way. So I'm drawn to it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm one of these guys. Bring me to an art museum. I'll sit there and stare at it for hours on end and admire it. I really think it's great. Yeah. So the first thing we ever really did, I mean, during the show, this is where I really kind of started, was approximately 7 years ago. We did the cabinet here, the Mother Brain cabinet. And basically that was, I had this cabinet and it needed something on it. So I said, oh, well, you know what? Maybe we'll do the Mother Brain, because this is like the central, you know, brain of the operation around here. So I just used some masking tape and some spray paint. I wanted to get the pixel look, you know. So I figured, oh, the squared edges of the tape and just spray paint. I had some cans of spray paint in the appropriate colors laying around. I always have spray paint around. And we did that, and you know something? I was really excited by that. You know, that really triggered something. I don't know what it was. I said, wow, that was fun. And then moving forward from that, I believe the next thing we did was the... Unfortunately, I don't have a video of painting the outside of the cabinet. But the next thing we did was the Blue Girl. And we have a video of that, and I'll leave links in the description below. And this is you gotta be fucking kidding me. I didn't think it worked anymore.
KE 576 North Babylon, fire copy signal 16. Automatic medical alert activation, 81 Thorough Road between Poet Street, Dead End. Repeating a signal 16, automatic medical alert activation, 81 Thorough Road between Poet Street, Dead End. 1235, dispatcher 20.
Alright, we're doing a show. We're doing an art show over here. Alright. So, yeah. So here it is. This was the very first, the second one that we did. And this is a scene, this is a cut scene from E's book 1 and 2. It was my first, you know, it was the first time I was really floored by, like, video game Japanese animation. This blue-haired girl and whatnot. I had experiences with Phantasy Star 2, but I didn't really get it until I saw this, and I was like, wow, that Japanese animation is pretty wild. So I was inspired by that to do a little piece of artwork on that. I did that on my vacation. And what we did is that's taped. This is taped and spray painted. I don't know if you look closely, maybe you could get an idea. You could see the tape marks and everything like that. And this one took a long time to do. This one took me all week to do. Cutting with a razor blade, very tedious. doing layer after layer after layer of paint. It was that one damn near gave me a nervous breakdown. Really, I was, by the time it was done, I was done. No more. But I did that, and then I believe we did the bonks. I should have brought it out here. The bonk box. Yeah, we did that, and you know, I was on this whole tape and spray paint thing. As a matter of fact, we have a cabinet over here that was supposed to be a scene from the final battle of Phantasy Star 2. Yes. And I actually started to record that. You don't understand, babe. When I die, it's going to be valuable artwork. You're going to be able to gamers everywhere. What, are you kidding me? When I'm dead, this is what's going to keep you floating.
Me?
Yeah, because you're going to live longer than I am, because you're stressing me out every day. So what's going to happen?
So, and what is what is the benefit that I'm going to get out of this?
You're going to be able to sell it for millions.
Oh.
What do you think about that?
Okay. I'm going to wait for that to eat tonight.
Okay. You don't realize that I'm like a modern day. I'm like a modern day Picasso, honey.
Yeah.
That's what you don't realize. You don't know how lucky you are.
I know where you got the Picasso.
Honey? Honey, you're so corny.
Hey, you don't think it's better if you just sit down on that little stool?
Maybe you're right.
Oh, I don't know what God gave you that head for.
To wear a hat?
Yeah.
He gave me this head so hair could fall out of it. What's so funny, babe? You know, I watch these videos, babe, when I'm editing them, and I see my bald spot getting worse and worse.
You see your what? Your bald spot.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
I say, oh, look at that. It looks horrible.
What can you do, huh?
I still have the start of that. One day we might finish it. It's just that it's so tedious to spray paint and to spray paint in here now with overspray and everything like that. So I think we might convert that, keep the background, and convert that to a drawing, like a painting, and I'll just paint onto it. Because that's when I discovered painting. And the very first painting we did was This is a real curse. It was Dungeon Explorer. Yeah. And I just love the game so much, and I love the cover art because it's so bad. So one of the first paintings I decided to do is a really bad cover art. I love the idea of painting bad cover art. Like I want to paint Mega Man, the first Mega Man video game. I want to paint that on a jacket. But people don't get it. You know what I mean? I had this hanging up when you come down my stairs in the basement. I have this hanging there, and people and I tell people, yeah, I like to paint. And they look at this and they go, oh yeah, oh that's nice. And I'm like, well, you know, it's. And then you got to sit there and explain to them, this is a legendarily bad video game cover art, and you're like, all right, let me take my fucking foot out of my mouth now because I sound like an idiot. Anyhow. We did that one. That was a lot of fun. And I got another sip of beer here. It's just delicious, to be honest with you. And from there, I believe we painted the other side of this cabinet. And Oh boy, is that gonna stay open? Probably not. Woo! Boy, that beer goes right through you. All right, and then from there we painted Gate of Thunder. I thought it would be really fun to do the Gate of Thunder artwork. My lettering got jammed up on Thunder. I wasn't too happy about that, but overall, I got paint from Home Depot, and I was using sample paint that they give, sample latex paints, to do this because it's only a couple of different colors and whatnot. And I was kind of happy with the way that came out. I was just so excited to have it. You know, these things make me happy. You know, we did the Hudson Soft down there. It just makes me real happy to be surrounded by these things. You know, it feels good. You know, I open up the cabinet and I'm like, yeah, that's great. It's great. How do I explain it? It just makes you happy. You know, I open this up, I get happy. So, that was that. And what I really liked about painting was the fact that it was so much easier than tape and spray paint. Tape and spray paint was so arduous. And I said, look at this, I can paint. And it's almost like I'm doing it in real time, you know? Whereas with the spray paint, you know, the layers and layers to come off, you don't know if you've actually ruined it yet until the very end. So with paint, I can make adjustments, I can do this, I can do that, and I could do it a little faster. But still, my painting was very, very slow. Which brings us to, this is xevious. I really love this one. I have this hanging up down in my basement. I'm really proud of the way this came out because when I started it, I was in that, what I like to call the Bob Ross part of painting, where Bob Ross always, when he paints, the painting looks horrible. And you say, oh my God, this looks like shit. Part of the appeal about Bob Ross is you say, oh my God, this looks like shit. And then he manages to pull it back around. And then it looks fantastic. Well, with that one, I was in the Bob Ross mode, and I'm like, oh my God, this looks terrible. And then when I finally start to see it come around, I said, oh, yes. And then it gives you this like second wind, and you get very excited. I'm going to tell you something about painting, the way I feel about it. The beginning, I love the beginning and the end, and the in-between is pure hell on earth. I don't know how to explain it. I don't enjoy it. I love the idea of starting, like the idea of picking a new project and, we'll paint Contra, right? The cover art for Contra. Oh, so exciting. This is going to be awesome. And then you're in the middle of it and you're like, oh my God, this looks like shit. This looks like shit. I'm doing this wrong. This is wrong. This is going to come out like shit the whole time in your head. This is like the internal monologue. This is a disaster. I got to throw this thing out. And then you get to it around, 80% done. You're like, all right, this is coming around. And oh my God, it looks half good. And oh, this might work. And then you get to, this is great. It looks great. Or you're happy with it, usually. And then when it's done, you're elated. You're like, oh my God, this is great. I love it. But where do you put it? And that was the biggest problem. After xevious, I realized I don't have anywhere to put anything. I can't, where am I going to hang this? I mean, I hung this one on the wall, but I don't have any space. I don't have a man cave. I don't have an area. And this is the saddest part of my life. I don't have any, I love to do these paintings, especially on big board. I like to do big paintings, I like to upscale things like, xevious is a tribute to, it's like the godfather of newer school shooters. It's an old school shooter. And to upscale it on this big board and pay tribute to it is fantastic. But I have nowhere to hang the artwork that I do. So after this one, I stopped. We also did the the Friday the 13th Jason, you know, the pixel tile Jason. That was a lot of fun, but you know, I don't know where that fits in with everything. But and then I stopped because I said, what am I going to do? Well, actually, we did the well, under here we have the sapphire painting. I had to hang it out here. I finished it, and I was like, "What?" I didn't finish it. I didn't do the ship in front of Sapphire. I always wanted to do Sapphire without the ship in the front because I think it clutters things a bit. But I had nowhere to hang it, so I hung it out here. I said, I'm basically hanging it out here to get destroyed, covered in dust, and you know, I work in here in sawdust and acrylic dust and every other dust. I said, you know, I might as well let it out here, leave it out here, and let it get ruined like my lungs. So I gave up on painting for a while, and I missed it. I said, you know, I really enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed that, and then that led us down to a path where I remembered, you know, back in the 80s when people would paint on jackets, denim jackets. That was a big thing. You know, heavy metal guys would walk around with their jackets and had to have them custom painted. And that was a real prestigious thing. I don't know, among, like, you know, heavy metal guys. Or I would see it, and you know, you would say, wow, that is there is a real status thing to have your jacket like hand painted. You have guys with like beautiful airbrushed and painted jacket. I don't know what it was, oil paint. Sometimes it was airbrushed, but not crappy airbrushing like you get at the Busy Bee Mall. You know, Jen with stars. You know, people used to wear the white sweatshirt and it would say, Jennifer, with stars, that kind of shit airbrushing. We're talking about high quality airbrushing. And I remember I saw it, I talk about this before, but I saw a metalhead back in the 80s, and he had Live After Death on the back of his jacket, painted. It was astonishing. And I just sat in TSS record world, and I was like this, like drooling on the floor. And I was following this guy around the whole record shop. And it was just like, I remember my mother even went up and talked to him. You know, like, oh, who did the artwork and this, that, the other thing. And, you know, oh, a friend of mine, you know, this, that. How much did it cost? I think at the time in the 80s, it cost him $50. So, translation today, that was probably like 400. Let's face it, right? So, and then I thought to myself, let's do a jacket, you know? Oh God, wouldn't that be exciting to paint a jacket? So let me go get the jackets from inside. I'll be right back out. Okay. So believe it or not, the jackets were real intriguing to me because not only did I think it was a cool concept, now I could paint the jacket and I could put it in my closet. So I have room for it. So it's like, you know, I could stack up some jackets in my closet, no problem. It's not like I have any clothes to wear. So here we go. The very first one was all very experimental, as a matter of fact. And it was just to see if, you know, if I could do it. And I said to myself, this is what I'll do. I'll paint every single... I said, if this goes right, I'll paint every single Iron Maiden picture. I said, so let me start from the very first one and see if I'm wasting my time. And I was very happy with the way it came out. I mean, this is 1980s, you know, not late 70s, early 80s metal right here. It doesn't get any harder than this. Yes, it's the great Derek Riggs. I wanted to also pay tribute to Derek Riggs for all of his wonderful artwork that inspired me through the years. So here it is, the first Iron Maiden album cover. I love this album cover. This album cover was inspired, Derek says, by a photograph he had from a photograph taken in Vietnam or something like that of a head on a spike. And it kind of, I guess it kind of looked like this. but the background is actually the view from his apartment building, which is interesting. So there we go. I got through this one and I said, oh my God. It took me forever. It took a very long time. And, you know, people say, oh, you should sell them and this and that, the other thing. To be honest with you, they take hours upon hours upon hours of time. It's really, you can't justify that many hours worth of work. And I think I figured it out. I figured it out. If you sold it for like $100, I'd wind up getting like $4 an hour. So it's like, what? Anyhow. Okay. So here we go. I was so happy with the way it came out, and I love the result. That I said, in all the grand, like, hubris, I said, that's it. I'll go and I'll paint the most complex Iron Maiden jacket of all time. And that brought us to Somewhere in Time. And this might be my favorite one. Just because it was such a ballsy thing to do. And by far, this one has the most hours into it. If I had to take a guess, I'd say it has about 22 hours into it. Yeah. I'm happy with the proportion, with the stance, with the background, the colors. I think we got it. I think I nailed this one. Even right down to the logo. This one to me is the cat's pajamas. All right? And this one gave me a burst of confidence like you can't even imagine. I think that's the biggest thing I could take away from this one is it's the catalyst for every jacket moving forward. I was like, after I painted that jacket, I was like, what do you want me to do? Chisel out David next? I mean, this is, Sistine Chapel? I'm on my way. Get me a ladder. A scissor lift these days. Do you imagine this guy didn't even have a scissor lift and painted the Sistine Chapel? Anyway. So here we go. Then we jumped in and I said, well, if we're going to do Iron Maiden, well, let's do some video game artwork. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something right now about my artwork show. It's proven, like all the shows where I do artwork have proven to be the biggest failure videos I've ever made. They get the least amount of views. I'm like, nobody's watching. So this is always been a deterrent as well. I'm like, why am I making these videos? Nobody's watching. It's like, what's the point? So that's always been a bit of a deterrent. But for some reason with the jackets, I've always stuck with it. I don't know. I just enjoy doing them so much. And I said, well, let me do some video game jackets. So I decided to do what I consider to be this might be the most beautiful video game box art I've ever seen. This is the Mega Drive version of Guyry's. And I mean, look at her. Look at this hair. I mean, you know women would the crimes they would commit for a head of hair like that. And she's just a beautiful woman in front of this spaceship shooter. I mean, the font on Guyry's, it's so Japanese. It's such an incredible box art. I mean, we got TNA going on here. What more do you want? Naked lady, ships, hair. And I was super proud of this one. Oh my God. If I'm going to wear a jacket out, it's going to be this one. I just think it's so cool. It's just so cool. God almighty. God almighty. So here we go. I mean, listen, I said, I need to drive a little traffic here. I mean, I'm trying to get people to watch these videos and whatnot. So, video games, artwork, what could I do next? I said, it's got to be Castlevania. I said, we got to try to drive some people in here. People are wild about Castlevania. I love it too, especially old school Castlevania. And I mean, that box art is fucking incredible. The whip coming around at you. And this is the first time I did like a portrait almost like type of painting. This one was tough. It's one thing when it's Eddie Maiden, but when it's human proportions, everybody can tell. If you screw up, I can tell. Everybody knows what a shoulder, a bicep, a head looks like, legs. Everybody knows that shit. And you can't fool the human eye. When the proportions are off on the human body, you're fucked. When it's Eddie Maiden, you say, all right, he's a zombie. His one arm's bigger than the other. But when it's, you know, Simon Belmont, we all know the way he's supposed to look. This one was tough. The little island in the back there. Yeah. This is very foreboding. Dracula's castle, and the vampire killer in the foreground. I mean, come on, people. Come on. So, it was at that point, that one broke me a little bit because it was very stressful to paint. And I said, I want to have a little more fun here. And I was sick and tired of trying to please everybody. You know, I figured I made the video. It was a huge failure, by the way. Yes. I think it got like, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 views. I'm like, yeah, no, that's great. So mission unaccomplished, so to speak. So I said, let me go back to having fun. And nothing was more fun to me in the 80s. I thought to myself, I like painting things from the 80s. You know, I could paint G.I. Joe. The creativity just goes off. G.I. Joe, I don't know, toys from the 80s, you name it, Transformers. I love all this shit. So I said, let me paint something fun from the 80s, and I got to talking with my friend, and we were talking about Garbage Pail Kids, and it just clicked in my head. I said, oh yeah, Garbage Pail Kids. I'll do a jacket with Garbage Pail Kid on the back. Oh my God, how fun. How fun. So we did this one right here. And I decided, I said, what could I make that'll gross out, you know, the fucking Long Island sweat hog housewife behind me when I'm on the checkout line. And I'm like this, it's Leaky Lindsay, you know, she's sick, she's got COVID, I don't know what's going on. She blew her nose all over the floor. And I had so much fun with this one. Doing her little face. She has these almost bruised up cheeks, a little dimple there. I mean, her little dress, polka dot. She's so innocent, and it's so disgusting. And that's the way it's meant to be. And I'm really happy with the way this one came out. I think it came out fantastic. But after that, that video failed miserably, by the way. You know, no surprises there. I kind of expected that. I mean, you know, judging how the other ones went. But I figured we needed redemption, and we needed to head back to video games. And I got a suggestion from a guy. I wish I could remember the name. You know who you are. And he said, you know, you really should do Ghouls and Ghosts. And I started to look at the artwork for Ghouls and Ghosts, and I'm like, yeah, this is serious business. I mean, it's so iconic because of the game, and look, I got my dress pants under here. That's great. That's how much room I have in my closet. I mean, you have, you know, Arthur in his golden armor with lightning shooting out, this decapitated monster that chases you around. It's the first boss on the first level. Everybody knows it, right? And I mean, how cool is it? A Sega Genesis box art. A proper Sega Genesis box art on the back of a jacket. I'm in. Now, here's one where, I don't know. I feel like I shit the bed on this one. I went back to Ghouls and Ghosts. Really, how am I going to say? It stressed me out. It was tough to do. And I wanted to go back to doing something fun again. And I was thinking, what can I do? And I was thinking comic books. and I thought immediately of Elektra Assassin, because I remember how much that comic book affected me as a kid. There was no other comic book like it, then or now. And that front cover art was so stunning. I said, wouldn't it be cool to do Elektra Assassin? And this is the one that really handed me my ass, because it made me realize that I drew the face. The face is absolutely ridiculous. The body is out of proportion. Her torso's too long. Her butt should be up here. Her legs are too short. The gun's okay, but it really showed me, like, if you want to try, you can't fool anybody with the human form, especially a woman. Everybody knows what a woman's supposed to look like. And I just feel like I botched this one. And I think people think I slacked a little because of the white background, but that's how it is on the comic book. So this one I wasn't that proud of. Yeah. This next one, I figured it was a redemption time again. And this one, I wanted to pull out all the stops. I took my balls out of my pants and I said, you're going to do Soldier Blade now. We're going hardcore PC Engine. Do you understand? This is big time. I said, no more, I'm not fussing around anymore with any of this other nonsense. I said, we're going balls deep into PC Engine, and we're going for the most beautiful PC Engine shooter cover arts of all time. And here we go, it's Soldier Blade. And Soldier Blade is so gorgeous because you're obviously in Earth's atmosphere with blue sky and beautiful clouds in the background. And here's your ship diving in, you're being attacked from the back. And this is where I feel like I grew. And my painting got a lot faster. I got a lot looser. I think that's an important thing to mention. When I started painting this, I just started putting color in, you know? Just put the color in. Make the shape. Don't worry about the detail. You know what's funny about painting these things? When I look at painting now, I say to myself, it's already there. You just have to uncover it. I said, that's it. I said, the ship is there. Just uncover it. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But sometimes you just blotch color on. Like, you do the red outline first, right? You just blotch the red on. And you start to see the ship's lines. Maybe you fucked up and the paint went high here, but you know you could just cut that off and there's the ship. And you say, oh my God, the ship is appearing before my eyes. This is where, remember how I said the painting at the beginning is great, the ending is great, and the middle is, I hate it? I started to enjoy the middle on this one. And I said, oh my God, this is, slop it on. Slop it on, be free. Don't try to go for details first. Just slop it on. We slopped it. Slop the ship on there. Slop the clouds. Slop this guy in. And then refine. And then refine, and then refine. It's almost like looking at a picture out of focus, and you're just bringing it into focus, slowly, no rush, slowly. But my speed, believe it or not, a slower approach and a faster outcome. Okay, this is a lot faster than any of the other jackets. That's right. Which brings us to this one, and I'm really proud of this one. Because not only do I think it came out well, but I was able to do this one incredibly fast. Because I had this new vision. And here we go, it's Nexer. And especially with this guy coming out of the darkness here, it was almost like, okay, he's there. He's there, we're just bringing him out. So I take the red paint, and it's like this, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this. And he's appearing. He's appearing. And maybe a line's off, but then you take the black paint and you rein it in and you hone it. You say, this is this, this is that. And then I learned how to get loose and ballsy with the lettering. Just start to put it in. Just start to put it in. Fix it later. Fix it later. The hardest part, jump into it and do it. So what I'm learning is, that's it. My camera ran out of batteries. So, you know, it's a good opportunity to drink another beer. So here we are. I kind of forgot where we left off, but yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say now is my painting speed has gone up. I think, you know, I'm generally around the 8 to 10 hour mark now to complete a jacket, you know, depending on the jacket. And I'm really excited about the next jacket coming up. I think it's the coup de grace. It might be my greatest jacket to date. It's the one I'm certainly most proud of if it comes out right. It's not easy. It's not easy. And this next one will be really cool. But as far as wearing them, I got to be honest with you. Do I wear them? I don't wear them. I occasionally wear them out to the supermarket or something like that. But, you know, and how will the paint hold up? I don't know. Will it crack? In the cold weather, it might do some cracking. So, but I mean, what are we gonna do? Honestly, I don't know how to preserve them. I'm not gonna sit there and mix. I've used fabric paint before. It sucks. It's very watery. It's hard to hold colors and stuff like that. I've tried. I'm not going to sit there and mix a fabric medium into every. Sometimes I sit there and mix a million different colors. What am I supposed to mix a medium in with every single color? I don't feel like driving myself bonkers. So there we have it. I mean, the art in general has been a complete failure, but I feel compelled to do it. I really enjoy doing it, and I feel compelled to do it. I want to do it. Sometimes I come up with ideas in my head and I say, oh, this is great. I can copy that. Maybe some original artwork would be nice, right? You know what I love doing? When I paint, I sit there and I marvel at the artist. That's one of the most satisfying things about doing the paintings. I sit there and I say hats off to this guy for creating this originally. Let's face it, because I'm basically doing cover music here. You know, but I enjoy that. But I can really, really appreciate what the artwork, the origins of the artwork, and it inspires me. I've been watching videos on shadowing and understanding the principles of shadowing and this type of thing. It's interesting. So maybe one day we'll do some original artwork. Wouldn't that be exciting? I don't know. Are you asleep yet? I know, guys. That's it. I figured we'd do something a little bit different today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And, you know, thanks to everybody, you know, who gives me great comments in the about the artwork. Because it really does. It keeps me going with it. And, you know, some people tell me that they've been inspired to do artwork. And to be honest with you, it's hearing stuff like that I think is, it's the best thing to hear. If you can inspire one person, you know, to find out that maybe they have an ability they didn't know about. How spectacular. All right, guys. Do you realize you just tuned into the greatest video game program in the history of human civilization? And you better believe that. With the 4K voice! We'll see you next time.